Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we're talking about what are dislocations and subluxations. A dislocation is where the bones in a joint fully separate from one another. These events can occur at different sites of the body. The most common areas are the jaw, shoulders, thumbs and kneecaps. For me, it's always been my knees and my elbows and my thumbs. Dislocations and subluxations can be painful and cause injury to the tissues in and around the joint. The experience of a dislocation can be extremely painful and distressing and require urgent medical care. And I'm talking from experience, really traumatic. Some come in and out, some you just can't get back in. A subluxation is where the bones in a joint can slip over each other but not fully separate or dislocate from each other. So it's just partially. Dislocations and subluxations can be treated, reducing the risk of them happening and reducing pain and injury. What causes a dislocation? Well, for most people, it takes an extreme force on the ligament in the stances such as a fall or a hit to the body, such as while playing contact sports. But for those people that are like myself, all we have to do is just sit down. For one example, I've been in the hydrotherapy pool at the hospital and I've got out, got dressed and I was just getting in my wheelchair. And next minute, my arm just popped out, this one, and I had to go to A&E and obviously they assessed me, took x-rays and then eventually they took me to theatre and knocked me out and then they kept me in overnight. Got a day off school the next day. Which I went to, but completely remote. Because this is when I was about 14. That was like the last major dislocation I had with my elbows. Ligaments are flexible bands of fibrous tissues. They join various bones and cartilage. They also bind the bones in a joint together, like that. The hip and shoulder joints, for example, are called ball and socket joints, and the most common dislocated joint is the shoulder. I think I've only ever dislocated my shoulder once, but for me it's mainly my knees, my elbows and my thumbs. Treatment for dislocations tend to be the doctor will examine you and they would ask you what happened in your medical history and they'll send you for an x-ray, and depending on the outcome of that, they may send you for an MRI as well. Well, I don't think I've ever had an MRI after one, it's just always an x-ray. So you can have the RICE, which is rest, ice, compression and elevation. Repositioning, so this could be through having gas and air or being took to theatre and being knocked out, so that could be like sedative or general anaesthetic, and then they'll have the x-ray above and then they will position it back in its rightful place, and then they will normally put a splint or a cast on afterwards, and there will be pain relief and then again surgery. And that is that for this video. I hope this video has been informative and interesting for you to understand more about dislocations and subluxations. I said for me, dislocations were more prominent. They got to the point where I was having them every week and I would have to go to hospital every week to get it put back in. I said some you can get put back in straight away, others you just can't. If they're too fully out, then it's just you have to go to the hospital. So it got to the point where I was going to hospital that much that the local orthopaedic consultant was getting really concerned and they were worried about the damage I was going to do to around the area, and they referred me to an actual orthopaedic hospital, and there, they did all the examinations and x-rays and everything to see what we were working with, and they said that surgery for me would be no option because they wouldn't know which way it would go for me, whether it would make it better or worse, and instead they made like splints that like neoprene here and here, and they'd have sips and a little hinge here, so that on both elbows and both knees. And that for a while kind of helped me have less dislocations, and after a time I was able to stop wearing them. Really not nice having dislocations. And then the most problem now, I have wear and tear in my knees, which is basically like osteoarthritis, and that's because of all the dislocations that I've had over the years. I can't straighten my knee properly, I can't straighten my elbow properly, I have issues with my hip, but that's I think related to something else, and my foot, perennial subluxation, where there's a little bone inside the outside of your ankle that slips over where it shouldn't be. Usually it'll go back, but sometimes it doesn't, and I will have to get someone to kind of manipulate my foot to try and get it back in. Usually as a result of that, if it keeps happening, then they will do surgery, but again they would be very reluctant to do surgery on me because I don't know how it would be for me, whether it make it better or worse. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please give it a thumbs up and share, because I think this video could really help somebody else to understand about dislocations and subluxations. So don't forget to share and subscribe, it's free, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. See you soon, bye!